Hello everyone, it's me, Clayton. I just got back from watching Justice League Dark, Apokolips War. And if you're a fan of the DC animated films, even if the ones that I'm talking about are based off the New 52 series, you'll definitely get a kick out of this ultra dark, ultra satisfying action film that basically acts as the conclusion to every single DC animated film we've been seeing ever since Flashpoint Paradox. Yes, everything from Justice League War to Bat Blood to Suicide Squad, Assault on Arkham to Son of Batman. Every single film in that timeline is wrapped up with this movie. Then in something that I'd essentially call DC's version of Infinity War. But let's get to the story, shall we? The story is that after Darkseid has taken over planet Earth, there are only a handful of heroes and villains who have to team up together once again to stop Darkseid before he completely takes over the entire universe and reduces Earth to nothing more than a molten husk. These heroes that we mainly follow are John Constantine, who has been going through a lot of personal issues and is regularly drunk as a skunk. A depowered Superman who was tortured and had his powers reduced by Darkseid. Raven, who's experiencing extreme bits of PTSD and voices in her head from her demon dad. And Damian Wayne, who has had to deal with his father Batman being taken over by Darkseid and being used as a personal slave. So yeah, as my description has pointed out, this is easily one of the darkest DC films in the entire canon. Which is kind of saying something considering how dark the DC films are able to get sometimes. But it's dark in a good way, because much like the Marvel and Endgame and Infinity War films, it definitely does feel like it's darkness with a point, considering the stakes of the final battle at play here, considering how much of a low point our heroes have to be to make this journey seem worthwhile, and when it comes to making us feel so satisfied when it comes to how the movie would eventually conclude. So basically, the film happens to still manages to hit a good amount of humor to mix in with all the sad drama and with all the flashy action scenes, and a lot of that humor obviously comes from Constantine's quipping, which Matt Ryan is practically a veteran at this point, but also from some Suicide Squad members who make for some great side roles, like Harley Quinn and King Shark and Captain Boomerang. If you loved their material from Assault on Arkham, you'll definitely like their material here, is what I'm trying to say. On top of that, the action scenes are definitely run the gambit from being big and dramatic to big and hilarious to a combination of both, considering that there are some really strong fights between characters that I never thought would happen, mixed in with Harley Quinn bashing in Darkseid soldier skulls while singing "Are You Happy If You're Happy and You Know It." So basically, the film goes to every single place when it comes to dark comedy and also with heartbreaking drama, and it all works beautifully. It may be more grimdark than the Marvel's take on it, but it definitely doesn't feel like an edge fest, even though it does feel like it could eventually get there. It could easily have ended up being too edgy or too self-serious, but it manages to avoid both of those things. And it's really satisfying to see these characters and seeing these characters in new lights that we never thought we'd see them before. Whether they're small roles like Swamp Thing and Batwoman and Batgirl, to bigger roles like seeing Batman as the lackey to Darkseid, or seeing Trigon with his and see him in full control of his demonic powers. It just feels like it's the perfect conclusion to this style of the DC universe that seemed controversially dark to some, but definitely has a strong enough conclusion for me to be glad that I've been able to see all these DC animated films. If you just want to see DC's version of Avengers Endgame, you'll get it. It's just definitely more doom and gloom with spices of action and comedy throughout. But it definitely has so much great action and so many great character beats so that it's basically impossible for you not to enjoy something in it. So I definitely think it's one of the strongest DC animated films we've had since Flashpoint Paradox, and that's why I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. See you next time.